Hello, I'm Ross Halleck, and I am very excited to introduce to you our three current releases just coming out with your next shipment. And the first, well, what's particularly exciting to me is they're from three different AVAs. So we have Russian River Valley, we have Sonoma Mountain, and Sonoma Coast. So we have our three signature vineyards from each of those AVAs that we're releasing in this next shipment. And so I'm going to taste all three of them with you and remind you of the other releases that we have available, the other current releases that you've already been introduced to. But I want to start here with the farm vineyard. So we'll be tasting actually three, as I mentioned. We're going to be tasting the farm vineyard from Russian River Valley. And this is, as you know, is one of our signature organic vineyards. We've been farming for almost 2 decades now. And our Haas vineyard, and this is the Sonoma Mountain wine that we'll be tasting and introducing. And finally, last but certainly not least, is our 2014 estate grown, our flagship vineyard here on the property at Halleck Vineyard, the namesake of the winery and sort of the apple of our eye. So let's begin with the farm vineyard. And first, of course, the color is absolutely gorgeous, translucent, garnet, kind of cross between garnet and ruby. I mean, it definitely has a gem-like quality. And I think the wonderful thing about Pinot Noir is that it has this translucence that, compared to a Cab or a Merlot or a Zinfandel would suggest that it's just, not as robust of a wine, but all of these wines just deliver much bigger than you would suggest or that the color would suggest. And then in smelling the wine, right away you get that deep dark cherry that is signature the farm vineyard. And this is a 2017. But in this case, you get some wood notes as well, some dark currant, and maybe some tea or wood, some earthy tones that not wood like oak, but kind of just like woodsy, and sort of a black tea touch with a little bit of floral note too. And on the palate, that cherry comes through, clove, cinnamon, smooth tannins, really, really just silky, and but it's bright too. It's got a real pop to it. So love this wine. A mainstay in our portfolio. Really, really extraordinary example, the 2017 farm vineyard. Now let's move to the Haas vineyard. So this, if you know the story, this was a vineyard we used mostly for blending, and we had the opportunity to make a wine with Josh Groban, the Find Your Light Pinot Noir, with it, and it just shined like crazy. And so we took the rest of the wine that we made from our wine with Josh and made a single vineyard, and it's since gone on to win many, many awards. And this wine, of course, it's a little darker. It's got kind of a deep dark ruby note. It's certainly transparent, but richer and deeper in color, and it has a very unusual nose. There's a hint of apricot, black currant, a touch of anise or anise or licorice, maybe a little even eucalyptus in there. Wonderful complex nose, lots and lots of layers. Now on the palate, well, the first thing I get is blackberry, And that little touch of apricot comes through, which is an unusual flavor for a Pinot Noir, but it's a stone fruit that comes through coupled with the blackberry. And there's some cedar and some sort of kind of wafty spices in there. Not sure what those spices are. Maybe a little allspice. Allspice is easy because it's hard to identify. But just delightful. A little bit more tannin structure on the palate. You know, beautiful, beautiful balance to this wine between the earth and the fruit and the tannin and the smoothness. It kind of, sings, if you will. And our final wine for this particular tasting is our estate grown 2014 Sonoma Coast. Of course, this is our flagship vineyard. I live on it. It's behind me. It's raining here today. And this wine, again, very translucent, very garnet-like, very gem-like. Oh, and the nose is totally different than these. It's complex, earthy, a little bit feral, but not as feral as it has been in the past. It's a little bit more fruit driven than in the past. And I mean, it's 2014 for this wine. This is a young wine. The 2013 just had felt like it had much more age on it. This feels like a young wine. There's some plums, and I'm gonna. Oh, gorgeous, nice, just delicate but grippy tannins. So you can tell this wine has structure. You taste the plums. Definitely, there is a hint of a feral quality, but not your classic barnyard Burgundy feralness that we've had in previous vintages. This is a little bit more, I won't go so far as to say California style, but it's a little bit more fruit driven than earth driven. But the earth is still there, and it's got wonderful balance and wonderful complexity and many, many layers. So it certainly lives up to its reputation as our flagship wine. But I would say this is quite a bit different than our other estate grown vintages. And that's what's exciting about living and growing these grapes, is that every year they tell a different story and they have a different story to tell. So I just want to remind you that in the previous shipments you have the Sauvignon Blanc 2019, our wonderful White Zinfandel, Not Your Mother's White Zinfandel 19, our Three Sons 17, and the Hillside Cuvée 17. And you can make up any shipment that you want. These wines are slated to be sent to you, and I hope you enjoy them. Please feel free to call me, ask me any questions. Happy to craft something that's perfect for you. And thanks for supporting us. Thanks for being part of our community. And really, I trust you're going to love these wines.